Alright, welcome to Soul Spark Tarot. I'm your host, Mr. Renew. And today, we got a life purpose reading for this daily message. We just celebrated Independence Day in America yesterday. And towards the end of the day, okay, let's start rapping. Let's start yapping. No. So yesterday at the end of the day, I did a lot of Reiki healing, and I felt like there was a lot of energies that came off of me. So I feel like there is a new breakthrough. I also watched this video. It was a live stream from Forbidden Knowledge, Billy Carson. And I swear to God, he was talking to me directly. I swear to God, he was trying to hint to me indiscriminately, yo, I need you, come fucking help. I want to talk, but you got to get your shit right. And, I've always had that same sensation, and when I watch readers and listen to different videos, so I guess we can start yapping now. But I get a chance to, see what the energy is like from a different point of view. And so yesterday, I felt like I was breaking through for independence. And then when I watched that video, it helped me understand that I've already broken through. And I've seen this shit in so many different readings. So instead of focusing on my major desire of the world, which I don't even know why, it's just always been that desire. As a kid, I've always desired union. I don't know why, it's just always been there. And that's been kind of like my mission, and whenever I am in union, things change and I'm always doing, to me, the greatest things. But it's been hard to value all the things that I've been doing outside of a union because I haven't realized that I've been in union with myself. But that's not as fun, it seems like. I got a lot of Libra energy in me. I want to relate to people. And so when I am relating to myself, I'm good. But I want more. And so then when I relate to other people, it's not always the case because, again, they can't really relate to me as well as I would hope. Now, the reason why I went on to say that is because Billy Carson, I've been related to him, like, not by blood or anything, but been able to relate to what he's been doing for a long time. And I've kind of found out like he's into music and stuff too. So it's like, there's even more reasons to like try to learn from a dude who's doing everything in this world. He's doing everything, man. So because of that, he was talking about just financial balance. And the reason why I said what I said earlier, as in he was talking to me, is because again, I have a lot of information out here in public. A lot of information. I've been just posting things for everybody to see. And it's not just regular stuff just to like get people to come and like buy a product. No, it's really just been spreading out knowledge as much as I can, as best as I can. And what I've been saying is like, I've been trying to put high level, high quality stuff out here so smart people be like, oh shit, this is what I needed. Because I can't talk to everybody, but I can make things available to everybody as much as I can. And, if people can match it and, vibe with it and find it, then I'm hoping that they'll be able to use that information more than me. And so I see this as a teacher. As a teacher, I'm not the most intelligent person ever. I'm a pretty intelligent dude, but most teachers are able to be what we call resourceful. Most of them can bring you information and then help you see it another way, or in the way that we're supposed to. But a lot of teachers, when you go outside of their scope, they say, I don't know. It was really hard to go out of my scope. So because of that, I could relate to a lot of kids and give them the encouraging sparks that they needed to like start a journey for themselves. And so I'm able to like see shit. Here's what I see, and then the people who really know about it be like, oh shit, never thought about it like that, and it makes sense. Am I smarter than that person? No. Again, I said it the other day. It's just because I have a more youthful approach to that topic. I'm newer to it, so I'm seeing it in a different way. They are old to it. They know all the ins and the outs and the expectations and every complexity there is. So if I can just change how the orientation, again, take the Legos like this and put them like this now. Take the Legos from like this, break them down, and now we put them back up, and now like this now. Like this versus like this versus like that. We can change the orientation, and you get new shit. This is called recycling. But this is also called atoms and, water and grass. Why can grass be the same no matter where we're at on the planet? Because of its orientation. Tree is tree. Damn, bro. He be doing that shit on purpose. My cat, an asshole, man. Especially when he don't get his way. It's like, who are you to demand me? But I've been letting things like that just flow. Because I don't want to be upset or change my energies. And so, because, again, I'm watching myself, I'm trying to be more aware of how I can reorientate myself. So this is why we have the Life Purpose deck today. I'm going to take my own advice that was represented as financial advice. Again, it's not mine in the sense of I own it. I've already talked about this shit in regards to everything Billy Carson said, but in regards of you as a human. But he was saying, yeah, now take that shit and apply it to money. And it makes sense because, again, I just know it's a noun, and a noun is a person, place, a thing, quality, condition, or state of being, and that shit is interchangeable. So if I can do it with people, how come I can't do it with money? If I can do it with people, if I can do it with money, how come I can't do it with business? I'm trying to move beyond any of my own limitations that I could possibly give to myself, because at the end of the day, I've already broke through. And it's about recognizing the breakthrough. So you can be more aware of your present position along the breakthrough so you can break through further. So that's just money momentum. Again, if you focus on the problem, you get more problems. If you focus on the money and expanding or the solution or the service, you'll get more of that focus. You'll get more solutions. You'll have more people to service. You'll have more problems to solve, and you'll have more money to spend. And it was really all about changing your beliefs. So one of my big issues with money and spirituality, it comes with beliefs, and it's not what you think. It's not like I have negative beliefs. I haven't had enough conversations about money and positive beliefs versus negative. So that was my issue. I just was ignorant to the basic generic conversations. I didn't have a concept of what was a good belief versus what was a bad belief. I just did not consider the good versus the bad. And even when I've already been told to make a list of what is positive and what is negative, because I don't have the experience or the wisdom dropped down to me by another person with experience, I just have to wing that shit and create my own, unless I seek it out. And so I do seek it out, but most people don't tell the story like you should. And Billy was saying it, but that's because Billy Carson and his wife, which is his director of all of his shit, I think it's amazing that they work together, and I would love for my wife to be a partner with me. I can help her too. But they got 5 kids. And so because they have all of these kids, he's been really trying to educate his children. I think he said his youngest kid started trading when he was 16, and now he's like 22. And all his kids, they just been making money because they've been listening to him about making money. But if you've never had a person who can converse with you about money, then you will never have beliefs about money outside of what is being programmed. But that programming is of the mind, and because it's no feelings attached, it's an empty vessel. And because it's an empty vessel, you have to spend time checking out what goes in that vessel or not. So this is like looking at the Seven of Cups on purpose. I'm purposely looking through all of these different varieties. I'm on purpose, not judging them. I'm interested. Which of these puppies am I going to get at this dog shelter kind of thing? Which one of these cats am I going to adopt? What I'm going to do? I got all of these options, and they're all different, and they look different, and they act different, and they got similar temperaments, and then they got drastically different moods, and then some are happy and some are sad and some are old and some are young, and it seems like we're on like a little kid's show right now. But that's the thing, man. That's the Seven of Cups energy. And because I don't have a concept of the money, because I didn't have the concept of the feeling behind a belief, it was hard to change my beliefs. Again, I just could not change them because I was experimenting with them. And it became fun. But it became detrimental to the life you live in, because at the end of the day, it's like you're playing with reality. And that's cool. Some people don't mind. But the fact that I and a lot of other people in the spiritual community do this shit secondarily, second nature, it is important to realize all of your magic. You got to be a conscious creator. And that means you got to become more aware of the self. And so that's where I even been focused on. Yo Spark has been identified as me looking for myself. But it's not me and myself. I have to take a new point of view. And that's why I come with the I. But then I am talking about the me and the myself. So I had to bring a double perspective that was new. And that is where the translation come in, called yo. That is the premise behind all of this. That's literally 4 parts, but it's coming from 2 things. The I and the me. But when you get the I and the me, you get the me, myself, and I. And then when you get the me, myself, and I, you get the I or the yo. Or the Kyle. No, but purpose is coming from experiences. And I talked about this on my other channel in regards to the masculine energy as boys are developing into men. And as boys are developing into men, you have to go through these rites of passage, but everyone goes through 4 rites of passages, and the one main passage that you go through to go from from boy to man, that predominant energy of your previous 4 mini journeys, your little mini passages, those things are going to come in and then be your major personality. So I'm trying to help us find more of ourselves doing this reading right now. More of the things we should be focused on in this present moment doing this purpose. And then you got to acquire some tools, man, to help you see yourself so you can believe certain things about yourself. And then you can change what those beliefs are if you don't like what you see. All right, and so with that being said, environment is a nice, easy way to get those changes, feel those changes, and then experience them as a cup filled up. It's hard to change the mental environment, but you can do that with activity. The mind always wants to go, so instead of not doing stuff, do something else. That's how the mind goes. The body is what wants to sit and do nothing. So the mind always wants to keep going. So, all right. Feel like that was enough yapping. I feel like the message has been pretty clear. I'm thinking that I should probably like start cutting those messages in half so it can just be like the reading versus big ass birds. It can be just like the reading versus the spiritual insight or download. But I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, the people who gonna hear it don't hear it. So, all right, let's get on to this reading. Let's see what the energies are for our purpose, our life purpose. Let's see what's going on with our life purpose energy. What do we need to know as we grow and grow? I actually thought I lost these cards. When I got evicted, I thought somebody stole them. I'm like, how you gonna steal this and take it up and put it in the wrong motherfucking box? Well, you trying to take both of these? And it was funny because I only thought that because Doreen Virtue, the Change Butterfly deck was the first deck I ever got. It was Oracle deck, first one to call out to me. And I've always just enjoyed her decks. I connect with her decks like damn near the most. Outside of the Nightmare Before Christmas and the Thoth deck. The Thoth deck was the first deck that I bought in tarot, which was it's still odd to me because as a brand new beginning reader, that is still one of the deepest fucking decks that I've ever read with. It's always deep. And even now with experience and with a huge capacity, it doesn't mean that it's not heavy. I'm more aware of its weight now. So it's just like, man, I knew it was heavy then. It made me move slow. I had to like take hella deep breaths and things. It was a lot of energy. It was so deep. But the fact that that was my first deck with the Change deck, those two things in combination, it really helped me see like how deep I already was within these things. In other words, how natural of a magician I already was. It helped me see that even though then when I started doing tarot, I was so nervous and I was afraid and I was embarrassed. Now I don't give a damn. I'll do this in fucking public like I'm doing right now in the car, headphones on and all, not giving a fuck, rocking my one-piece shirt. So, yeah. Not that I'm saying I wish I would have continued doing this sooner. I did consume a ton of tarot in between that time, but it's just a matter of just appreciating what has transpired. And so I'm trying to do much of the same thing, and I'm trying to do this now in a way that other people can relate as well. So these purpose cards, I think it's going to help us all move beyond a similar story. Again, taking out things from the past that seem to be ended or retired, and then making a new career from them. Nice old dragonfly just drove on by. Now I was right in front of the whip, chilling. We have that giant crow. Again, where I'm at right now, I love this place right now, and I don't want to get attached because if I like this place and I left my old place, I probably can leave to a new place and like that one too. So this little traveling thing is great. I should have been in it, even though, I try. It's just, again, taking it to our original point. We need to have what? We gotta have beliefs. And we gotta take those beliefs and we gotta understand those beliefs relative to our environment. And sometimes you don't know. And that is A-OK.
Get a quote at lemonade.com.
6 justices: Alito, Thomas, Roberts, Barrett, Gorsuch, Kavanaugh.
Sorry about that. With that being said, let's get started. So, what is our life purpose, man? We got a nice little story. What do we need to be doing with our energy right now in this purpose state? No, dude. No, dude. family. So family, loving your friends and family is central to your life purpose. Okay. So we got a family card. I always see this card because it has an angel watching over him. This card, it reminds me of the Two of Cups or the Four Wands, but 2, 4, they're the same. They're even numbers. So when we're looking at this, we have to look at the idea of what family is. And that could be friends. That could be your work colleagues. That could be your network. That could be a group of people. Just to continue to piggyback off of Billy Carson from yesterday, he was saying, nobody has friends. Most people have acquaintances. And then most of us have the closest thing to a friend that we can get. And you can see these through your typical behaviors and those reactionary behaviors. So your typical stuff that they do and how you interact with them versus when you introduce new information to them and their reactions to it. A lot of this comes from 2 of my webinars, which is cool. My Brain and Me teaches you about the brain and how it operates and how you can use those understandings to manipulate different mentals and mind states and thoughts. Mentals, mind states, and thoughts, 3 different things, which is why I said it. Check it out. My Brain and Me. The other thing is growing up me or growing into me. And that webinar is about the human developmental spectrum on the psychological side and what to expect at each stage of development. So now you can take the parts of your brain that you just learned and you can start to understand those parts at those time frames or stages. These 2 things come together to help you understand how you relate to other people in the world. As you relate to people in the world, those relationships come through and as more or less conducive to your core values. The closer they are, the more likely you'll call them family. So, we also have environmentalists that popped out. Okay. This angle is ridiculous. Okay. And it says, you're an earth angel who was born to protect, nurture, and teach about nature and the animals. So whenever I see this card, I always see it as it's not what you're seeing as animals and natures. These are natural tendencies versus animalistic tendencies, the things that you do, your primal beliefs, your reared beliefs, your nurtured beliefs versus the natural aspect of you, your natural beliefs, the things you don't understand why you feel that way. I just like it, kind of thing. So that's the nature, that's teaching about the nature or your own natural tendencies versus the animalistic or animals, which are the things that you are nurtured into, the human side to you. Now, obviously, you can easily have a pet. I'm not talking about that because a pet becomes a part of the family. So it's not this isn't talking about just physical animals. This is talking about the animalistic side of the person because we're looking at purpose. Why would this person be out here in the fucking woods? Why the fuck would I be out here in the motherfucking woods? So there's something more than just the physical nature and aspects of what we're talking about. Go ahead, Bubba. So she's out here with nature. She's out here with flowers. She's doing her thing. But the cool thing about this is we're seeing her mood. We're seeing how she feels. We're seeing her energy relative to what she's doing. And that is what I'm focused on. Then that's the natural things you're attracted to versus the nurtured things you're attracted to. So take another look. Trees, their nature naturally grow. Flowers naturally grow. The plants, they naturally grow. All of these things just grow. But how come when you're there, things grow more? How come when you're there, things seem smoother? How come when you're there, everyone feels more like family? Well, that's what we're getting to. We're getting closer to us understanding this purpose thing. I also have a book that I've been giving out for free. I do everything for free, bro, which is why I'm saying if y'all, I don't like y'all, I don't want y'all to really donate. I'd rather y'all buy a book or a product because you still get something back in return. And if your whole sole purpose is to help me, you're helping me because now I have a product that I'm selling. So I got income avenues that it can come in. But again, if you donate and just want to donate, that's cool. I don't really, the only place you can donate is if you go to Soul Spark Radio and then click the little button. That's the only place I have for any just donation. I'd rather you service yourself. And the reason why is because, again, you are creating so much more of these things than you realize. A lot of these aspects that you're cultivating to these family things, they come from the aspects of you being true to yourself. That's the cool thing. And so for me, I'm also trying to be true to myself. I'm going to teach and provide and do things like I'm doing. But I know that, again, I have to change the belief. It's valuable. So again, my purpose is to change my beliefs and finding new beliefs to feel about, which is why it was great that Billy went and gave examples that he would have with his actual children, and we would change those. And then we went through the clients and we looked at all the clients that he worked with and looked at some of their beliefs, didn't matter of the income, and then we, again, got a chance to experience them. And we can apply that Seven of Cups energy to our purpose. And I just got an intuitive download now. I think the reason why I like tarot is because you people understand what I'm saying when I say the confusing things like, oh, we need discernment, we got options. But if I say, oh, Seven of Cups, everybody can go and look at the Seven of Cups and be like, oh, that's what the fuck you talking about. So now instead of being a teacher in the classroom, having a standard of operation of what should be, we can all come together as a family now because at the end of the day, we all can reference the same thing. I can say, oh, I got a brand new idea. Well, you can probably say that's either the Ace of Wands or the Ace of Swords. That spark. You need the rocks, right, to spark, or you can use a lighter. Either way, both of those two energies are masculine. I don't know if y'all knew that. But fire energy and air energy, they're masculine energies. They do shit, which is why we can take the same action to do shit. So that means the feminine energies, the earth and the water, those things are receptives. That's their primary thing. And so you get a receptive man like me, I'm mostly feminine energy. I got one masculine energy, one major place, in one huge location. So that energy comes off huge, but most of the time, I have two different forms of feminine energies within me. That's why I can receive information. That's why I'm smart. That's why people consider me intelligent and aware. It's because my primary means of information and operation, my natural tendencies is to receive. Everything receives and gives, but I receive first and then I go. In sports, we call these counters. Okay? And video games, we call these reaction times. So it's not a girl thing or a woman thing. No, we're looking at energies applied. And if you've never studied chemistry, then you would never understand endothermic and exothermic reactions. Things going in, things going out. Input, output. It's so basic. Again, but it's only complex if you don't know how to relate to it, if you don't believe in it. Just like with the money thing that Billy was trying to explain yesterday. So, we have what? Spiritual teacher. It says you heal with your classes, sessions, and seminars. So if I had to look for my session, if I had to look for my life purpose, like I've been doing, this is me. I'm a spiritual teacher, and haven't I been doing it? I've been trying to embrace that more. I call myself a holistic coach. Why? Because, again, on the physical plane, that's what the world wants to receive. But I'm a spiritual teacher. Look at all of those different religions. I don't care what kind of color, creed you are. I don't. I don't care your ethnicity, your culture, none of it. I don't care about your financial status, whether you're wealthy, whether you're broke, none of it. I care about the things that you care about. And you don't care about the same things that I care about because I care about all of them and you care about your own. There's nothing wrong with neither one. Bubba. So, you're probably hot. What do I naturally teach spiritually? Well, I think that's called perception. And I think that's why I'm valuable. I can bring a perception. And to me, I've already defined this so many years ago, which is why I think this is cool that it's coming back. Perception is of the mind. Perspective is of the heart. And it is a fraction. It is a numerator and a denominator. I'm speaking this as clearly as I possibly can. When you have a nominator and denominator, okay, a nominator creates a numeric value for the fraction, and we call this a benchmark. Nomination is similar to denomination. Just like if I had a denominator, the denominator is the instruction of how to divide. Guess what? If my denominator is 2, the denominator is everything by 2. But the denomination is a half. And the denomination is what we call a squared. Doubling. So I'm saying these things in particular as I'm doing it because as a spiritual teacher, I am teaching you just through the education that most of us learned. That's the teacher side, that is 4th and 5th grade fractions. Because you are a whole being, that is another form of a fraction. 12 out of 12 gives you one whole number. 1. So the 12 zodiac signs inside of this universe are the same 12 that's inside of your universe called your mind, your perception. But the fact that there is 12 and the fact that there is only one thing of 12, that means there is a denomination of 1. And anything can have a denomination of 1. You are 1 out of 1 is what we say. So now we're switching to the spiritual side. And so anybody in this loop, anybody here can understand that they are 1 out of 1, no matter which one you are. No matter if you're Christianity, you're not Judaism. If you have Islam, guess what? You're not going to be Bengali. You know, you are you. And that's what we're trying to tell you. That's what I'm trying to teach. My bad. Had to get that bullshit out my throat chakra because I was getting some real shit out of my throat chakra. So, being a spiritual teacher, man, I think is what we're shifting towards, especially in regards to you personally, I guess. But what are you teaching naturally? What do you just do? What do you just bring? And what do you do to make those people feel as if you're like a mom or a dad? Here's another example. Old people like to talk to me. Old people like to talk to me. And they don't even know why. They just don't even realize it. And I've realized it because I had a lot of experiences with older people who relate to me more than younger people. And so because I'm a young dude relating, they're normally like, oh, you're so wise. And I'm like, Well, you're so young and spring chicken-like, innovative. No, I think what it is just we are on the same wavelength because we're focused on the same thing. And I explain this in a blog, in our counseling blog, and this is through what we call Eric Erickson's psychological development spectrum or stages. When you're what we call old is of the mind. Damn. Old is of the mind. And so when you have this old perception, man, I'm sorry. When you have this old perception, the perception will change relative to your own changes. So if you're not changing, that means the things that you're looking at won't change neither. Fuck, I'm sorry. Okay. Still can't see not a damn thing. Anyways, I ain't gonna let it stop me. So the changes that you're experiencing, those things have a purpose. And as you're changing along this purpose, those things are relative to you as you're making changes. So again, there's changes happen as changes are happening. And to be aware of this calculus, okay, this integrals and these derivatives, all we're saying is that mathematically speaking, the way you start to divide your perceptions upon your perspectives, divide, division, fraction, the way you start to divide your perceptions are the ways you can multiply, okay, your perspectives. And the reason why the perspective or the reciprocation is so important in this case is because of your belief system. If you don't believe you're a good ass spiritual teacher, I do believe that. I just didn't believe in how I was delivering it. I thought I needed to be a spiritual teacher in the classroom. I thought I needed to be a spiritual teacher doing tutoring. I thought I needed to be a spiritual teacher as a coach, as an athletic coach, as a mentor, a school counselor. All of those things outside of what I'm doing right now. And the reason why I'm saying that is because this shit comes naturally to me. It comes so naturally to me that I'm blown away. Like when we do our love story and I ask them to tell me where this shit go, that shit goes from my hand and be like, oh, all the way over here in a specific way. Or it'd be like, it'd be going to where it needs to be. And to me, that's I wouldn't call it a talent. I would call it more so of a natural ability. Man, don't come over here bitching. I don't want to hear that shit. Sorry. People react so differently with their animals and mine. I be treating mine like they know better. And they do. They're super conscious. Sorry. Still waking up. Okay. I've talked a lot about these three cards. We gotta let something go. We gotta let go of those old beliefs. And I think those old beliefs aren't beliefs. Those old beliefs are just perspectives. Again, change the perspective. Oh man, I would never go to Circle K and ever get coffee. One time I went there, the coffee was all burnt and nasty, and I got sick. Okay? So this person believes that they should never ever drink coffee from Circle K. But then again, they go, let's say to Starbucks or Dutch Bros or Dunkin' Donuts, and the same thing happens, right? But because of their belief system, they might give Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, Dutch Bros another chance. Whereas they don't believe in Circle K anymore. Me, I don't give a fuck. I drink my coffee black, so I don't care. It's just black ass coffee, bean fucking soup, bean tea. But I just drink it black. I like espressos, so again, that's like thick soup. Come on, Titty. So, the belief needs to have a new perception upon it. I had an old friend, again, the only reason why I separated and disconnected from this friend was because I felt like I was doing all the work. Whenever I would call, it was never like any progression towards development of the business. But he was the dog. He was my homie. He was a cool friend. I met him at work, but I'm also met him at school when I was going to Arizona. And yeah, I was even going to join a fraternity and everything. It's just there's certain things that were just slightly off on frequency, and that's again, I just felt like during that time I was being used by a lot of people, and I separated myself from damn near everybody, and he was included. But he was a homie that I would always discuss these type of things with, and he wanted to create um, a social media site called Conscious Click. And the idea behind Conscious Click was to not create just likes, but to give moods and thought processes relative to what was posted. Imagine Facebook, with the different indicators. I like this, I dislike this, this is funny, all the little emojis we can put in the pictures like it's normal. He wanted to do that, but for Twitter. And then each time you do that, it will branch off and lead to a Discord or like a Reddit stream of thoughts or feed or chat GPT kind of discussion, to where it can deviate and then be unified all together as a single thought. I think that's already similar to what, not Twitter anymore, what X is doing. Again, that was one of the major changes, but I think that's what we're doing and seeing. To take something and then be able to create ripple effects, right? These rippling effects, or fractals is what we'll call them in math, those fractals create a pattern of division. Have you ever seen a kaleidoscope before? A kaleidoscope. Those images inside, fractaling, that's what we're talking about. But your consciousness is what operates on that too, which is why if you can become more conscious of your beliefs, then you can be conscious of how your beliefs influence your reality. And so this popped up over a spiritual teacher, but it's telling me to hold on. This is why I'm telling you guys that it's more, the Seven of Cups is important right now, because it's more than what we're just typically seeing. It's a means of support. So we're looking at supporting ourselves as we're going through these changes. And that's kind of hard to understand if you don't really get the math. And so for me, when I'm telling you about the math, this is us reconciling things with fractions. Again, if you got a denominator, I can take the reciprocal and then I can multiply that fraction, and now there's no more fraction. In other words, I had to take the division and do something different with it, and then I had to treat that division like multiplication, and then that changed everything. But do I still got the same old fraction? Yes, I got the 1 over the 2. Damn it. Sorry. I got the 1 over the 2. But if I put the 2 over the 1, then I can multiply across. And now I got 2 over 2. 1 times 2 is 2. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 different directions giving me the same thing. So now I'm conscious of this top belief. I'm conscious of this bottom belief. I'm conscious of the 1 over 2. I'm conscious of the 2 over 1. Now I got these 4 parts. And now all 4 of these parts can come together and they can turn into a single part called you. And that you, or that yo, can be transformed into a yo called an I, or a you called a letter U. So again, I'm saying it this way because, again, I'm giving you a ton of perspective. So many things is happening right now. Giving you a ton of different perspectives right now, because that's my job as the spiritual teacher. As a spiritual teacher, I'm supposed to help support you no matter who you are, where you're at. And so, because math is universal, I don't know what happened to the support card, but because math is universal, that is what I'm trying to do to help show you these things, because math even gives you spaces. This is called geometry. I wish I would have been a lot more of y'all teachers, man, because again, I would help you understand this in the classroom, and instead of just doing it on this video that's going to be like an hour long, it's going to be there for 9 months, 10 months or so. So we got way more time to nurture what is natural to you. We got more time to become a family. So maybe this is you needing to spend more time nurturing something that you already nurture. You just need to flip a perspective and get some new support. Like me, teaching the same classroom stuff, I don't have a whiteboard. I got this tarot board, this spiritual board to help me out. So let's look at spiritual teacher. This popped up? Yoga. So I got this card last night. Again, I don't think this is yoga in the sense of you need to be some certified, but when I go to any of my yoga classes, all of those spiritual teachers, those yoga teachers, they give their little spiritual insight beforehand. It says your life is enhanced by yoga, stretching, and exercises. One thing I did do yesterday was stretch though. I don't give a fuck who saw me. I was in the parking lot, so I went. I just got some food. And then I came out, I was like, damn, my legs is hurt. Let me go stretch and roll out. And I did that. And people were watching and I didn't care. And it felt good. I felt great. I went fucking straight to sleep. So, again, I did that yesterday. Now I'm here talking about purpose for you today. But if you can do that in any kind of way, if you exercise your mind, if you do brain puzzles, Sudoku, people build games and things and translate those from the physical paper back into the mobile games. It's real. It's about changing how you're nurturing what is natural to you. Stretching. Stretch your mind out by reading books, articles, learning something. That is also a part of it. Then you can stretch your physical body. Again, if I'm trying to give you examples of stretching your mind, that is the numerator. That's the top part, right? But the denominator is the bottom part. Why do they have the word family at the top that you can read, but then the bottom or the denominator is a picture of what would be displayed as a family? Again, because there's two ways to always see. You can see it logically, but then you can view it logically. Or you can interpret it non-logically, and then you can interpret these letters, because these are just random fucking characters, as this too, or whatever you got in your mind. Maybe it's my family, my friend's family, my extended family. But it's a reference that only you can interpret. This is inside. So both of these things serve as a trigger. And they serve as a trigger, one to the mind, one to the body or the heart. Same thing here. One to the mind, one to the body or the heart. Environmentalists, children. It says your life purpose involves helping, teaching, and healing children. I already know absolutely that is the inner child. That is what I'm here to do, which is why I keep saying I wish I would have been your teacher. A lot of kids really enjoy being in my class, even when I'm mean, even when I'm not mean. I mean, because they understand how close and how tight-knit we are, because I try hard. I love y'all for real. Let me tell y'all something. I don't say shit just to say shit. I don't even really like to talk, which is why when I do talk and I'm yapping so much, it's because it is pleasurable. So for me, I'd rather just shut the fuck up and do it because I know it. Again, I'm receiving the information. I don't need to go out there and tell everybody because sometimes people don't want to hear it. They're not receptive. AKA, these are the masculine energies versus feminine. And so when these people aren't receptive, guess what? That creates conflict most of the time. Guess what? That's called a cross multiplication and math. I'm crossing, or the butterfly effect, or the butterfly technique is what they'll say. So, now since I am a teacher on the outside, I can still teach you about your inner child. And that's what we're doing here. And so, in order to find your purpose, and it's right on top of environmentalists, I've already told you that you need to go to what was natural to you. Not just your nature though, what you were cultivated into. So what do you naturally like to do? If you were a kid who naturally liked to draw, and then you had somebody come in like a teacher and give you new pencils or show you a new technique or a new way to shade kind of vibe, you can start to now re-nurture that same aspect of yourself because you've been nurtured. Somebody came in and they gave you a technique. Here's a way to solve this problem. Billy Carson yesterday gave us a technique. Hey, Kyle, I know you motherfucker, you know this, but you need to apply it this way. Here's a new technique, a new way to see it. Oh, two techniques to solve the same problem? Yes. There are rules though. PEMDAS, right? BODAS, right? These rules or these processes operate in the same way of you as a kid, but a kid doesn't know shit. So if a kid is there to learn things and receive information, whether they're a little boy, little girl, they're all in a more receptive state. Why? Because they are in a position to be nurtured. But in that position of more nurturing, that means they're more in their natural state, aka an infant. It will fucking do what it wants naturally. It don't care. It's going to focus on itself. As the child gets older, the more cultivated nurturing it receives, it starts to become programmed or behave in certain ways. And if those programs are opposite to its nature, we create conflict. Again, that person isn't receptive, you can have conflict. So, that person isn't receptive happens both sides. A receptive person cannot be receptive of energy they don't want to receive. Because they are receiving everything, they know easily how to deflect. So, that deflection energy is the same masculine external energy, it's just happening on the inside. Okay, so think of it as the shield. Nobody can be anything if you don't have something to protect you. So most knights have a shield attached to them. But the cool thing about this is most of the time the shield doesn't have a means of attacking. Its attack is always to defend. Counters. So there's a show called Shield Hero. You should watch that anime if you ever feel like the black sheep. Summoned to this place beyond his will. He was the only one unaware because he had found this information through a book, and the other people, they were in the future, different dimensional time periods of Japan. And because they were in different time frames, they were already aware of what's going on. They had it in like video game format. And he had it in the book. And it's always like that. The Shield Hero is always left out in the cold. That's because he's the only receptive energy. He could not pick up a sword, so he had to build up masculine energies around him. So he had to receive the right energies so he can place those things in the right environment around him. But because he's receptive, that means he can receive negativity too. So he had to go through this journey of fucking negativity, chaos, and rage because that's what a lot of feminine energy feel like. Just think of the goddess Kali. Kali Ma. She is the embodiment of chaos. She is destruction. But again, it's easily seen as a woman just getting an abortion to me. Again, she can destroy the whole world. She can do that's what women can do. They have that power because they are the most receptive force. And reception is destruction and chaos. Destruction is masculine. You have to destroy things that were already there. Women build things too, but they built the blueprint. Men manifest what comes from that blueprint, and then other men can destroy those blueprints manifested. Again, it's not just men, but I'm using it as men conquering things. If a man has sex with a virgin, he has now destroyed that virginity. But again, another man can come and destroy what was destroyed, right? This is the concept of not being not having a lot of sexual partners, because it creates a detachment and dissociation of what you attach to. It can't leave. And so now it becomes like a pestering ghost nagging you all the time. This energy that is tied to you, it's because something beyond you was made and then destroyed, and now it became in ruin. And then something else came on top of that and then was at a greater scale, but then it repeated. So the trauma is continuing and is building momentum because it's just being destructed or destroyed. So one more card and then we're going to get our final message. Family. Appreciate y'all rocking. There's a lot of knowledge in this one today. Alright, so whenever these things happen again horizontally, I like to see them as a loop. So this is telling me how we're going to connect. It is the 5th card, so it is a card of change, but change happens in a way of speed. It's masculine energy. Rock and roll, sex, drugs, rock and roll. That's what I think Boyd Strahan says. He's a numerologist. A lot of people probably say that shit too, but counseling is there at the bottom. So I'm talking to somebody and I'm helping them, and they're going to make a change. Again, they're going to make a change by focusing on nurturing, spreading the word of what comes naturally to them. What do they naturally want to nurture? And you do that by nurturing your inner child activities. The more inner child you get, the more natural you become, which is the more defiant you become to the world around you. As you do these things, you can take these two aspects of nature and nurture of your natural self and your programmed or nurtured self. Again, it's twofold. Two here, two there. You can take all 4 of those many parts and then you can apply them into a new way, such as spirituality for me as a teacher, or yoga. Again, but these are just modalities of things that people already do. They're just done in a new way. Again, don't think of yoga like a yogi. Think of it as breath work. Oh, people say that, right? Think of it as exercise. Oh, but people say that, right? Think of it as stretching. Oh, but people say that, right? They say those things, but do they understand them? And this is the concept of taking both. Again, you don't need to become a yoga teacher. You can just go and read about yoga. Stretch your mind. You can go and stretch your body, and then you don't need to be in a yoga pose. Yoga is about the breath. Yoga is about connection and harmony with all of your actions together. Every breath should support all your actions, whether that's to build or destroy. I gotta destroy the left step so I can build the right step. And then I destroy the right step even though I just made that step, just so I can build on the left. I have to know that these are the things that we're talking about on the progressive scale. Again, I've been looking at my views and shit and be up and down, but my 11 people, my 12 people now, I think y'all rocking with me. I don't know if y'all want these long videos or not, but I just like to do what I'm channeled to do, called to do. And I think a lot of these things come down to the aspect of the classroom. Again, I'm bringing this back even though it didn't seem like it, but the classroom aspect is important to me because I like certain topics, but all the kids in there are just there because they gotta be. Then at the last school I was at, there was a ton of kids who really wanted to be there with me during my own personal time because they wanted to learn extra shit. So I struck a nerve in a younger version of them. I struck a chord. I sparked some younger version of them, some more natural version of them because they saw me in my more natural state. I was able to be me, my nurturing self, my natural self, all in the different environments of them. So I can help them relate to themselves because I was relating to myself, in other words. But that's the teacher side embedded within the spirit side. But when these kids was like, hey, I want to learn more about this. I want to start that. I want to do this. I've been preaching that I can do it. And I've been showing them. I've been getting them to change their perspectives about their beliefs. And guess what? it's always 1 or 2 or 4 kids, you know. If I have 5 classes, it's always 1 or 2 in each class who are really, really engaged and involved. And normally it's 2 more who are just silent, more receptive. They don't want to talk. Normally it presents itself as 1 active kid with 1 quiet kid. And the quiet kid is actually the one who is like, yo, to ask them. They're the initiators. And then the one who asks, they be scared because they don't know what the fuck they're supposed to get once they do ask. So it's cool how a lot of kids naturally just go into that tandem. You see the best friends work together on their projects, but that's what it is. You get that more receptive energy that can reciprocate the more masculine energy in that interaction. Again, this side can relate to this side, and then this side can relate to this side. But because they can relate to each other, now we can start to relate across multiplied manner. We can multiply across. And all of these different crossings are the ways... Fuck. All of these different crossings are the ways that you can start to connect with your own purpose. So let's see what this connecting factor is. You are an artist. Engaging in artistic activities is beneficial to your career and every other area of your life. Every other area. So this here is the bridge. And this is simple. It is just simply creation. That's what an artist is. An artist creates the things that they naturally like to do. So it really goes back to that environmentalist. When you're at this part, I can't see this at all, but when you're at this portion, this part right here, this environmentalist needs to be expressing the inner child. And this inner child needs to be stretched, it needs to be molded, it needs to be connected and harmonized with so it can express its higher level, which is that teacher. Again, that is a professional of communicating information to people. Again, you're communicating to yourself. So now once you can be your own spiritual teacher, you can talk to all 4 of these parts and you can say, hey, what can we create? What can we create? An artist says, oh, I like painting, or I like these colors, or I like this keyboard, or I like this pencil, or I like this instrument, oh, I like singing, oh, I like singing in this tone, oh, I like singing in that tone, oh, I don't like to sing, but I'll rap, oh, I don't want to do any of that, my fingers do though, now I'm a pianist, I don't want to even touch a piano, give me this bow and these reeds. You can make a choice of how you're going to do stuff. But let's even get out of the pure fine art creatives. I can be an artist of the body and body build. I can be a fitness model. I can be a runway model or fashion model. I can be an activist model. Notice we're still in all the models because, again, I got one noun and then I can just put a different adjective on there. And now you call that artist a specific type. Musical artist, drawing artist, painting artist, sculpting artist. Again, simple, right? It's simple, right? Because I wish I would have been your teacher in the classroom. I would have been giving you real life examples for the class. Real world shit, because these are nouns. I don't need you to learn about the dog if we're not talking about theme, unless you're planning on owning an animal. Now we have pets, and that changes the idea of dog, and now I can become a dog owner, a dog walker, a dog sitter. I can start to specify what I like about the dog, a dog feeder, dog homer, a vet, a dog doctor. So again, I want to help you show yourself the natural things that you have affinity to, and then the things that you want to stretch, mold, exercise, and build up. And those things will help you be in more of your purpose. And the best way to be in that purpose is to connect to the things that make you feel like family with yourself. I don't know why the fuck she keeps doing that. She pissing me off. But again, it's just me letting things go. So, let's get this final message. Get this final message. Again, that's a good little lesson right there. Because I'm letting that anger go. I don't want to be mad at something just doing what the fuck they want to do. I don't want to be upset at that. So cool. And again, that's me teaching my inner child. Why? Because my little inner child wants to be controlling. It wants to control the expression of the art. I want to make this video perfect kind of thing. No, there's been so many mess ups and guess what? I've already taught myself that lesson. It's okay to make mistakes and have hiccups. I'm not a professional. I'm not sitting here doing this for just so we can get ratings back, Nobody's paying me to do this. And guess what? This is what I call Soul Spark Radio. That is a whole radio podcast show of me just being free to do whatever. Mistakes happen, bro. But some of those mistakes will be the greatest accomplishments of your lives. So that's why I let things flow. And that's why I try to acknowledge it. And then now, because of Brother Billy Carson, I'm able to say, hey, what belief do I have about that? What beliefs do I have about that perfection, that attempt at control, that attempt at manipulation? What beliefs are being carried with that? And what do I think about that belief that I'm carrying? Two separate aspects. This is what I call the letter U squared. Again, it's U squared. This is your U and another U. This is your spark and then your spark, which is why in chapter 0 I say, read me twice. You got to know all parts of your understanding. The fraction on the left, the 2 over 1, and the fraction on the right, the 1 over the 2. That gives you more access to the 2 times 2, or the 2 times 1 at the top, gives you more access to the 1 times 2 at the bottom. And then it gives you access to that new version called 2 out of 2. And then that translative version called 2 out of 2 is equal to 1. So many different ways to see. And that is the whole point of this message today. So in your purpose, as you search for your purpose, understand, just try to look at something you already got in a new way. What's the final message? What's the final message? Final message, please. You've been seeking and you've been you've been seeking and you've been finding. You've been seeking, you've been searching. It has been something that you've been looking for. Forgive yourself. I feel a lot of sadness coming out of here. A lot of people feel shitty that you don't know what the fuck you're doing. Don't feel sad. Forgive yourself. Seeking and finding is the point of purpose. If you never keep looking, if you don't have nothing to search for, if you find your purpose and you think that that's going to lead you to stopping, no. Seeking and finding is what your purpose is. So forgive yourself for not knowing what parts to nurture. Again, it takes practice with your newborn infant. Your infant is going to cry, and you won't understand its cry language until you seek and find some answers. So please forgive yourself for not knowing how to give that baby what it needs right away. Please take that and expand it to you. If you aren't familiar with your inner child, please do not fault yourself for not knowing the communications of your inner child. Please don't feel bad that you've been spending 20 years trying to be a teacher just to be a teacher. Do not feel bad. Forgive yourself. You have been seeking, you have been trying, you have been finding. Please use that as your fuel for your own spark. That is your purpose. Your purpose is to seek and find and innovate and change and grow and nurture and to tell people about it and to show people about it and to expand your own self that you're showing and you can show in other ways. Be all you can be by being aware of you. So keep searching. That is the purpose of your purpose. And once you find it, search for higher levels of that same old you. Because you got to grow up, and then you can start to describe your grow up as the artist that you are. All right, appreciate you for being here. Find your purpose. You already got it.